We welcome you to the beautiful state of Rhode Island on this Saturday night in the USL Championship. Burns Stadium in Smithfield is the site as Rhode Island FC of the Eastern Conference host Western Conference hopefuls Oakland Roots SC. Sean St. Jacques, Chris Nurse here with you. We take a look at the Eastern Conference table, and Chris, Rhode Island has a chance to end the night in the top four.
Yeah, you can see things are very tight in the table right now. Rhode Island could end the night in the top four, but if you look just below, North Carolina have a game in hand, and if they're able to win that, there's also potential for Rhode Island to end up outside of the playoff spaces. So it's very important for them tonight. Continue what they've been doing. Keep keeping clean sheets. Pick up 3 points.
It's exactly what they did last time out, Chris, in the derby against Hartford. They were really, really thorough in the second half in a 3-0 thrashing of Hartford Athletic.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting here is that we normally expect the strikers to be the ones getting the goals. In this game, it was two centre-backs who got themselves on the score sheet and then wrapped it up in the final stages to get that final goal to win 3-0. But definitely on a hot streak right now. Going to be very interesting to see if they're able to continue that right now against Oakland, who are also a team in good form.
Talked about the center back scoring goals. Frank Nadarce has 5 of them so far this season. That's the second most on Rhode Island's team.
Yeah, you always ask your center backs or your larger figures in the team to contribute from set pieces, from corner kicks, free kicks, but their ability to keep clean sheets has improved, and their ability to score from dead balls and set pieces where the contribution from center backs has also improved. So they're improving all around at the right time of the season.
You talked about how tight the East is. The West is pretty darn tight as well. Oakland sitting in third.
Yeah, and I think Oakland have a little bit more breathing space than their counterparts tonight. Obviously, they're still within touch and distance of being able to compete for first position, so they want to finish with as many points as they can. I'm sure they have their eyes on New Mexico and they're chasing up.
A few weeks ago, Oakland went through a couple of hiccups, but it's 2 wins in a row, and they were pretty darn good against Loudon, led by Johnny Rodriguez.
Yeah, Johnny Rodriguez has been the go-to guy for a number of seasons now. If you give him good service, he has the capability to punish you and score goals, and he did that again last week.
Of course, another big part of the goal-scoring output and really the effect of the distribution, Gagi, 2 assists last time out.
Yeah, and this is the situation that Johnny Rodriguez finds him. If it's not Mimo feeding him, it's Gagi feeding him. Gagi 2 assists last week, and the relationship that himself and Mimo also have allows him to get numerous opportunities to score goals, and he's doing a good job right now. He's picking up steam, picking up fire at the right point in the season.
Yeah, 2 of the teams on the rise in the USL Championship at the right time in the season as well. It's the first ever meeting between Rhode Island and Oakland in Smithfield, and it's coming up next.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
Hey Providence, we're Breeze Airways, and we offer non-stop flights from Rhode Island's T.F. Green International Airport. We're redefining what it means to fly up front. This one's for you. Introducing Breeze Ascent, the newest, nicest way to fly. It's seriously comfortable, satisfying, and affordable. Book today at flybreeze.com and experience the nicest way to travel. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories, and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
History is made in Rhode Island.
Congratulations, Rhode Island FC, for achieving the dream and making this a reality.
Rhode Island FC, the Ocean State's only professional soccer team, has kicked off its historic inaugural season.
This is going to be a spectacle to enjoy.
Rhode Island on the board!
Family 4-packs are now available starting at just $20 per person. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the action. Get your tickets today.
The future is bright for Rhode Island FC.
Sean St. Jacques, Chris Nurse back here with you. Moments away from kickoff between Rhode Island and Oakland Roots SC. Let's jump into the starting lineups. We start with Cano Smith's side, and it's a very good 11 for the hosts.
Yeah, and you're going to expect to see numerous fluency between the formation throughout the course of the game. You're going to probably see 3-5-2 when they're attacking, and when they're defending, you're probably going to see that look more like a 5-3-2 with Quizera and Turnbull dropping back alongside Stoneman and Odarse. So expect to see a little bit of fluidity in that formation throughout the course of the game.
On the other side of the coin for Gavin Glinton's side, it's a really good attacking group for the Oakland side tonight.
Yeah, and again, I think defensively we're going to see 5 players at the back. It's where teams have become a little bit more comfortable in trying to reduce the amount of goals they're conceding and keeping clean sheets. So I think at some point you'll see Ramerson and Diaz both drop a lot into the back line. But when they're attacking, I think you're going to see a lot of bodies going forward in a 3-4-3 formation.
Excited to bring this one to you on CBS Sports Golazo Network. First ever meeting between these two clubs, and there is quite a bit on the line tonight as far as the standings in the West, but in the more near future, the East in particular. We talked about it earlier. Rhode Island could finish as high as 4th in the table tonight with a win. They also could be potentially outside the top 8 if results don't go their way, including this one tonight. We're off and running from Burns Stadium in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Rhode Island on the front foot early in their navy blues with the yellow trim. Oakland are in their road grays with the numerals in light red. We asked Gavin Glinton about facing Rhode Island for the very first time, but it is getting to that point in the season where there's so much of a sample size that he really just had to review older games, and makes it a little bit easier as if this, or I should say as compared to if these two teams were to play in the first 5 to 10 weeks of the season. Yeah,
and as you mentioned, Sean, we're in the business end of the season where the results matter for Rhode Island. As much as it's their first year, it's their inaugural season, they're going to move into their home stadium next season. It would still be a fantastic achievement, and I'm sure deep down they're rooting to try and make the playoffs this year. Although they're probably not counting the season as a loss if they don't make the playoffs, they probably still internally having that motivation. As the results will start to pick up, they're able to believe in it a little bit more. On the other hand, for Oakland, as the season goes on and you're getting closer to the playoffs, they want to finish in the top 4 so that they can host at home. But they also have a chance of competing for the #1 position. If Louisville or New Mexico start to drop off a little bit, they still have an outside chance of finishing #1, which is obviously every team's ambition at the beginning of the year, is to be the best team in the league over the course of 9 months. So there's a lot at stake for both of these teams. It's not a game coming towards the end of the season where there's nothing at stake in it. It's kind of a lull. There's a lot at stake for both of these teams, so it's going to be an exciting affair tonight.
Yeah, both teams are surging at the right time of the season as a cheeky little back heel goes out of play. Here's what both teams need to do to build a win. It's presented by Go Fix It. And you talked about Oakland, and maybe it's cliche, the 3 points are important, but it's so tight right now. And like you said, Oakland are having aspirations of finishing in a home playoff position.
Yeah, and I think it would be something astronomical for them to have such a collapse that they found themselves outside of the playoffs. So going into the last 11 games, I think the playoffs it isn't mathematically complete for them, but I think we should see them in the postseason. But the aspirations of hosting at home or finishing higher up the table and competing for first, they have to get 3 points to stay on target for those goals. For Rhode Island, on the other hand, they started the season picking up a lot of ties. Then they found a way to turn those ties into wins, but they still haven't secured enough to be classed as a playoff team yet at this phase of the season. If they're able to continue to keep clean sheets, which is giving them the foundation to build upon, to be able to pick up those 3 points, I think that's where their success is going to lie. So if they keep that focus of keeping clean sheets, I think both of these teams will have no worries and we'll see them in the postseason.
Yeah, Rhode Island checked off all of those boxes in the derby win over Hartford Athletic last time out. It was a sold-out crowd here in Rhode Island. There was fireworks. It felt like a real derby, and Rhode Island really impressed in a 3-0 victory, especially in the second half. We highlighted that earlier, 3 different goal scorers, and now Cano Smith's side are unbeaten in 9 of their last 10 coming into this one. Oakland back-to-back wins after they went through a bit of a hiccup stretch with a couple of heavy defeats against Sacramento and Pittsburgh. And Gavin Glinton's side is hoping that they can defend like they have the last couple of games, not the 2 that came before that, where they conceded 10 over back-to-back defeats. Here comes Rhode Island here, an early ball into the middle looking for Noah Fuson. It comes all the way through for Quizera, who wasn't quite able to control that. And Camden Riley comes out with it for the Roots.
Good opportunity there for Rhode Island. Oakland can count themselves a little bit lucky because the defending was pretty poor, didn't get a good connection on the ball and came straight across the face of goal.
Rodriguez! Oh! Nearly got the Roots back up the other end, and they create the biggest chance in these early minutes.
And we spoke a little bit pre-game about the service that Rodriguez gets. This is a great delivery. Curling away, the goalkeeper is in territory where he doesn't want to come, and Rodriguez, aggressive, attacks, times it well, but just is unable to guide it on frame. A great opportunity to take the lead in the opening 5 minutes of the game for Oakland Roots.
10 goals this season for Johnny Rodriguez, part of an exclusive group now that have gotten to double figures in goals this season. He's actually scored 4 in Oakland's last 3 games, so he's really turning a corner at the right time. This will be headed all the way back for Paul Blanchette, one of the best goalkeepers in the USL Championship over the last nearly 2 seasons, and a little bit of change on top of that.
And just elaborating off what you spoke about earlier, Sean, in regards to Rhode Island and their 3-0 victory in their last game and only losing 1 in their last 9. It was interesting after the loss to Indy to see how they responded, because they went on a decent amount of time, 8 games without a loss. Then they lost to Indy, and it's like, okay, now they've been derailed a little bit. Let's see how they respond to that. And obviously their response was to come back, scoring 3 goals, defenders getting themselves on the score sheet, keeping a clean sheet. I don't think there's any more that Cano Smith could have asked for in a derby game in front of a sold-out crowd coming off the back of a loss. So it talks about their character and how the team has developed from a mentality standpoint coming into this postseason. Whilst they may still be an expansion team, they're building and growing week by week.
Cano Smith told us that the players showed up, front office showed up, the fans showed up, everybody came to go and play against Hartford, and that's what yielded a huge result for them and puts Hartford in a really tight spot, which Rhode Island fans will like to hear as far as their hopes moving forward for the postseason. They were actually trailing earlier tonight against Vegas, and we'll keep you up to date with everything as the night moves along. Again, Cano Smith's done a wonderful job with this team, and I think you look at the splits in some ways here of how the season's turned around. First 13 games where they picked up a lot of draws along that first 13-game stretch. Rhode Island only scored 11 goals in those 13 games. In the last 10, they've scored 25 goals. Yeah,
and we asked him, what's been the turning point? And he said some of the injured bodies have been able to get back to full health and fitness. So you can now see especially against North Carolina, the depth that they're able to bring in off the bench makes them stronger, while North Carolina, for example, when they go to the bench, they actually lose some of the strength they have starting in the game. So having those extra bodies come back at this point in the season has given them a little bit more strength, a little bit more resilience.
Rodriguez was trying to find some footing in behind. He collided with Karifa Yao. Let's take a look at tonight's health report for both teams. It's presented by Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic partner and team physicians of RIFC. Learn more at orthopedicsri.com. Zachary Harivo was actually a late scratch. We talked with the media team at Rhode Island earlier in the evening. He's in a boot. It's a lower body injury, so they're not sure the extent of it. Chua Messi, we know that Ann King is out for the year with a torn ACL, and Shapiro Thompson is also out. So a couple of late scratches, and again, Harivo played so well last time out. It's a clean bill of health for Oakland as far as what Gavin Glinton told us the other day. So they look to be okay for now, the Roots, but that's a huge loss. Cano Smith has such a good relationship, even going back to when Zach Harivo was a youngster. He's friends with his dad. That's a huge loss, and of course, Rhode Island hopes it's not as severe as what happened with Isaac Anking.
Yeah, I think Harivo has been, when we talk about how they started converting those ties into 3 points and getting wins, I think he's been a key component of that, whether it's been coming in off the bench and against the likes of North Carolina and giving them that much-needed burst of energy and impact, or in the last game against Hartford where he started the game and they get a 3-0 win. He's been one of the important players that have contributed to turning those ties into wins. So naturally, I think it's going to be a loss, but it's opportunity for other players now to step in and prove that they have the same capacity to impact the team positively. And hopefully they're able to get him back healthy as the season progresses, they get closer to playoffs. We did hear that he has a boot on, he's in the stadium somewhere hobbling around on a boot, but fingers crossed we see him back in action shortly.
Harivo and Quizero, they didn't get on the score sheet in the last game against Hartford, but their fingerprints were all over that performance. They did so many things well for Cano Smith, and Quizero just talked to us about how he has a low center of gravity, can really take opposition players on 1v1. He really helped be the catalyst for Rhode Island's attacking strengths in the win against Hartford last time out. This is Memo Diaz with an Oakland corner here. And there was a collision away from the ball. Albert Dikwa getting into a little bit of a pushing and shoving match. Gagi as well with Oakland took exception to the situation. I think the free kick is gone in Rhode Island's favor. So they'll get a chance to clear their lines, Chris.
And you did mention it a little bit earlier, Sean, about Cano Smith talking about the front office showed up, the fans showed up, the players showed up. And at this stage of the season, momentum is what keeps you going. Momentum is what you need to take going into the playoffs, into the big important games. And the fans play such a big role in that. If they're able to sell out the stadium, keep the positive energy going, keep picking up the wins, it's almost like having an extra player on the field, especially when you're at home in front of your home fans. It has such a big impact. So picking up the momentum, getting that support and getting all these things clicking into place at the right time is definitely working in Rhode Island's favor. Consistency is the key. Are the front office going to keep showing up? Are the fans going to keep showing up? Are the players going to keep showing up on the pitch? That's going to be the differentiating factor in regards to how their season finishes up. To
be fair to the fans part of that, it's another really strong crowd here at Burn Stadium tonight. They're going to need more of that, Rhode Island, down the home stretch. As Quizera, he's penalized here. He fouls Brian Tamakis. It's a set piece for the Roots. We can tell you that Rhode Island FC is accepting priority deposits for the 2025 season at their new stadium. We'll talk about that more at the half. Scan the QR code or go to rhodeislandfc.com. Secure your seat now. We will have an update on how the new stadium is going when we get to the halftime break, so stick around for that. And obviously we'll have an update on Oakland's big announcement about what their venue is going to be next season as well. All of that will come up at the halftime interval.
I think between these two teams, we're looking at a balanced game. If we're looking at Oakland's points, Oakland's currently sit on 35 points so far this season. Rhode Island currently sit on 32 points so far this season. So if the scales was to be balanced in any way, it may be slightly tipped in favor of Oakland. However, when you get to goal differential, Rhode Island have a +4 goal differential, sitting in 7th in the Eastern, and Oakland Roots sitting in 3rd in the West have a -7 goal differential. So there's no equation that makes this make sense.
Can't make it up.
All we know is that one team has 3 more points than the other tonight, and so they should be fairly balanced based upon that.
Just another season in the USL Championship. Really has been another wild and wacky campaign, but just the way we like it. Ton of drama, and there's still so much to play out. Not just tonight, a lot of big games tonight, including this one. Of course, Louisville and Charleston, Hartford and Vegas, all important games. That's just the tip of the iceberg, really. Of course, throughout the last few months of the season, there's still so many massive games to come. Gagi getting the header above Noah Fuson. This could fall for Rodriguez, but Karifa Yao is there. Memo Diaz followed up. There was a chance there for Ibarra, and he's going to play it back to the former San Diego Loyal man, Coque Vegas.
And I know we briefly touched on Johnny Rodriguez, but it feels like if you talk about Oakland Roots and you talk about goals, you have to talk about Johnny Rodriguez. But it was interesting, Gavin Clinton talking about the connection between him and Mimo. He said after training every day, they probably hit 50 crosses to each other. So it's no surprise that in the game, the same combination or chemistry arises.
Lovely touch here by Noah Fuson. He's going to let one fly, and it's parried away by Blanchette. Great strike, but Paul the Wall has the answer for the Roots.
Great individual effort there from Fusion. From the first touch, ball's coming over your shoulder. That's one of the hardest balls to control, but to create a little bit of space and the accuracy in the shot, that's everything that you're asked to do as a striker. Out your feet, try to bend it into the far corner, into the netting. Blanchette was just well positioned to push it away from goal, but great play there from Fusion.
Quizera dispossessed, but Rhode Island keep it. This is Clay Holstead. Plays back and forth passes. Holstead has a chance to turn here. First time ball by Dikwa. He was hoping to get someone to make a run there. It didn't happen. And then Rhode Island commit a foul, and Oakland can alleviate the pressure here. Brandon Stevens is our head official. And Oakland, well, they hold in the end in that sequence.
Hack sure trying to play the quick free kick against Dikwa there.
Ooh, possible head injury. I think their Dequa was following through. Referee did the right thing and made sure to have a quick check there, but looks like everybody's okay. And one of Oakland's main leaders, Neville Hackshaw, will take the free kick. And well, we talked about how good a job Cano Smith has done. Gavin Clinton took the reins from Noah Delgado, who was relieved of his duties earlier in the season. And, well, these past months, Oakland have been at their best. Again, a couple of hiccups, but Gavin Clinton has also done a wonderful job.
Yeah, I think there was question marks of which direction they would go when the change happened, but they've only gone one direction. That's been up and forward. So they're in a great position right now. Sometimes you question these changes, but I think it's a question. It was a change that has actually kicked them forward a little bit. So in hindsight, maybe it was the right decision. Sometimes in the moment, emotions, there's a lot of things that go in that people are upset about, but it's proved positive for the results on the field so far.
I remember at the time talking with him about it, and it was just the familiarity factor while just adjusting some of the problems that the Roots had had earlier in the season, and some of it just came down to concentration and desire in the team, and boy, has Gavin Clinton addressed that. I think that's fair to say. Yeah,
but it's always, when the head coach goes, normally the assistant coach goes with. It's always a strange dynamic in that scenario. But things have improved on the pitch. Results have improved on the pitch. So clearly the organization, decision makers know what they're doing in that aspect. But back to my point about Mimo and Johnny and their connection. Gavin spoke about how these two hit 50 crosses to each other every day after training. So 5 days, that's 250 times they repeat the scenario for it to happen one time in a game to convert. I think this is something that has maybe gone out of the game a little bit, where players stay after training and do the extras because of the implementation of sports science and wanting to try to control the loads and the fatigue of players. There's a lot less of players staying out and trying to perfect their trade or perfect their craft. And to hear that these two players do it on a consistent basis, for me, is kind of like a breath of fresh air, because there's no way that you're going to become a master at it if you don't do it every day. I read somewhere that Cafu used to deliver 150 crosses after training on a consistent basis. Well, it's no wonder he was one of the best fullbacks in the world and one of the best crosses. So to know that these two are still putting in that effort and that consistency day after day is it's good to know that the game is still in a good place.
Corner is presented by HILB Group. And that's your franchise leader in assists in Memo Diaz and your franchise leader in goals, putting in that extra work. You would think, right, that naturally other players are going to start doing that as well if your two leaders or two of your leaders are doing that.
And it's on those leaders to set the tone and the responsibility for the young players coming up. They're going to copy what they see, and if that's the examples being set for them, then the future is always going to be bright.
Rhode Island from the corner. Set pieces are going to be really important tonight. Both coaches, especially Gavin Clinton, talked about how good Rhode Island have been on set pieces. Just ask Hartford Athletic how that went last time out. They're going to get a second corner here, also brought to you by HILB Group.
Yeah, I think Nodas for sure has directed a lot of attention to himself on set pieces. He will know the capabilities of himself, so he's probably been marked a little tighter than he was maybe earlier in the season when he was getting 1 or 2. Now he's getting 5 and 6. They know that you can't afford to give him an inch room of space inside the box from dead ball situations, or he can punish you.
The only player for Rhode Island that scored more than him this season is last year's Golden Boot winner, Albert Dequa, with 6. This is in by Quizera. It's going to be headed right back out of play by Justin Rasmussen. It's going to be a third Rhode Island corner.
I think Nodas is trying to put himself into the same category as Tosh when it comes to defenders who score goals from dead ball situations, set pieces and corners. Definitely Tosh is one of the highest scoring defenders when it comes to my mind.
Not sure I've seen Nodarse take a penalty. If he's as good as Tosh is, he might be able to catch him at some point. Third try from a Rhode Island corner here. Ibarra has Fuson as a tight, close option here. That's where he goes. Fuson into the middle. It's helped along by Johnny Rodriguez, only as far as Clay Holstead. Stephen Turnbull, who smashed a shot off the crossbar in the derby last week. Holstead back into the mix here. It's going to be headed wide by Fuson, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Fuson just needed to guide that header back into the center of the goal. The dangerous area is going to be very challenging to score from that angle. A little bit greedy, I would say, in that scenario. Needed to be a little bit less surfish there.
Feel the heartbeat of Rhode Island FC with RIFC Pulse. Scan the QR code or text 401-249-4857. Stay in the loop on all things Rhode Island FC and get text alerts.
Just back to the connection between Mimo and Johnny Rodriguez. The repetition that they have in training.
Well, this is bent back into the middle, and it's well read by Blanchett. Maybe too close to the goalkeeper in the end.
The repetitions that they have in training just allows them to build chemistry and connection and the ability to read and understand each other without words or gestures. Because the second a player gestures or says something with their voice, obviously the defenders or the goalkeeper is going to pick up on those cues. But when you can read a player without even looking at them and you understand or you know where your teammate's going to be, that makes things very unpredictable for your opponents.
That was nearly given away by Oakland, but in the process, it might actually open up the opportunity to break up the other end. Rodriguez is through the middle. They look for him. Stoneman gets on the end of it. A shot comes in. It's blocked as Daniel Gomez followed up for Oakland, and it ricochets out for a Roots throw.
I think what happens here, when this ball gets played wide, as you can see, he has to check his run. He has to hold back. It takes the speed and momentum out of the attack, and then Rhode Island able to get back and get bodies back behind the ball. That ball needed to be in front so they could have carried on the speed and momentum that they're attacking with. Unfortunately, the pass was slightly behind. It slowed down the attack and it allowed Rhode Island to get bodies back behind the ball and eventually snuff out the opportunity to create a goal-scoring chance.
Nice hold-up play here. Rasmussen, it's behind Camden Riley. Oh, there was a chance for Tamakis, but it was poked past him and Rhode Island keep the possession. This is Quizera. We know how good he can be. He finds Dikwa. Quizera continued his run. Dikwa cuts in field, and it's touched away from Fuson, who is making a wonderful run into the penalty area. He's forced out wide.
Yeah, Doyle just tried to flick it onto Fuson, but he probably should have just let it go. The ball had enough pace on it, where had he let it go and just dummied it, it would have probably got to Fuson. He ended up trying to flick it around and probably put a little too much on it. Opportunity wasted.
And then that sequence ends with Quizera not on the same page with Dikwa, but really it ended when Fuson couldn't get on the end of that little flick. Or maybe it could have just been dummied in behind.
Yeah, I think we got a glimpse here of the dynamic Rhode Island attack. Once Dikwa and Quizera get running at you and start running into spaces, you're in big problems if you're unable to keep up with their tempo and their speed going forward. And we know Quizera on the ball is very tricky, very comfortable in possession. He can take you on 1v1, or he can play intricate passes to players making runs.
Ooh, a challenge here from Camden Riley. Yellow card is out. It's going to be a Rhode Island free kick. Ibarra was brought down. Riley acknowledges the booking.
Just a little bit late here, Riley, and he knows it. He doesn't give any question marks whatsoever when the referee reaches out, puts him into the book. He knows it was a late tackle. He didn't get much of the ball whatsoever. Stifled the Rhode Island attack in a dangerous area. Now he has to be careful for the remainder of this game.
First booking of the night. And it puts Rhode Island, again, a very good set-piece team in very good position here to provide the service.
As we spoke about the danger of Nodase and Stoneman from dead ball situations, free kicks, corner kicks. This is where they get excited. This is their territory. This is their chance to get themselves on the score sheet, and the confidence they have from last week rolling into this week, I'm sure they're buzzing and trying to keep that momentum and energy going forward.
And Rhode Island, I should say, have some options here. They could go for a shot as well. Quizera, I think, is just in his range. But Ibarra is also very capable on these set-piece opportunities. Quizera places it. Ibarra's ball in is headed towards goal, but it goes over the top and out. Did it take a deflection? It looks like it did. It's going to be a corner.
I think it's Hackshaw that might get the final touch on this and heads it over the crossbar. Hackshaw himself is a significant presence from aerial balls into the box. Sure, he'll be up for the challenge against both Stoneman and Nodase tonight.
Here comes another set piece. Near post this time, trying to find Fuson. Quizera gets a touch on it to keep it alive, then returned from Holstead. Quizera flashes one back in, it's cleared, only as far as Stephen Turnbull. Holstead. Again, Quizera can float one back in. It's exactly what he does. It's touchdown. Turnbull thought about it and is forced back. And here's Stoneman, who scored the first goal against Hartford, finds Holstead. Rhode Island revs the attack back up. Quizera. Fusano, it's a lovely touch. Ball across with the outside of his right boot is cleared away.
Great individual play there from Rhode Island. Starts with Quizera. He begins off 2 versus 1, then it becomes 3 versus 1, and he still finds the space to find the parts to pick out Fusion. And Fusion under pressure, a great touch with the outside of his right foot to create space for himself to put the ball into the box. Brilliant play from both of these two.
I think Fuson tried a similar Travella cross in the Hartford game. Didn't come out nearly as nicely as that one did. Well, he wasn't quite able to link up with a teammate. Here is Frank Nodarse. Striding forward, maybe one too many touches. He continues to fight for it, however, and almost won it back. Oakland struggling at times to really make things happen, but when they get into this position, they look threatening. Tamakis, and Riley does enough to keep it with a Roots throw. Here's the earlier Rhode Island move.
Quizera's here, 3v1, finds a space to pick out Fuson. Great first touch from Fuson, and I thought he was going to deliver that ball with his left foot. He goes again with the outside of his right foot, which is very hard to find accuracy in that area, but Oakland do a good job of defending it, but some good individual attacking ability there shown.
Gavin Clinton told us in the Loudoun game that they had to play a lot without the ball to get the result. That might be the same case tonight. As Dequa lets it run through, it's clever. He's brought down by Blanchett, or is he? Referee says get back up. And Oakland are claiming that it was a dive.
I'm a little bit torn here, Sean, because Dequa's touch is heavy. He takes it away from goal. Even if the goalkeeper doesn't touch him, he's not finishing out on his second touch. However, it does look like there is contact from the goalkeeper, so whether his touch is good or not, maybe he does have a claim for a penalty kick.
Well, the next chance to take a breath, we may have to revisit that.
But the run was good. The dummy to fake it and create the space was good. The touch of the goalkeeper coming out was a little bit heavy, and maybe that might have been the defining factor for the referee's decision, is that the touch wasn't going to allow him to score anyway. But if there's contact, there's still an argument that contact is contact, and it should be a penalty kick. So it'll be interesting once we get a chance to see a second look at that.
One of those rare ones too, Chris, where both teams had their arms up saying, no, it's a dive, no, it's a penalty. Referee says no.
That's where Dequa probably has to just take the decision out of the referee's hands. A better first touch, put it in the back of the net, and then job done. However, if he was rightfully impeded, good first touch or bad first touch, he wouldn't have gotten the end of it either way. So it'd be interesting to see how much contact there was, and if he was trying to make the Olympic swim team.
That's a tough task, considering how many medals they put together in Paris. Here's Hackshaw. Had the right idea, tried to find Rodriguez, who was double covered, really, in the end. Tarifa, Yao, and Stoneman all around him. Oakland have only had a couple of opportunities, some good opportunities, I must say, but it's been a really strong half again from Rhode Island, everything but the goal.
Yeah, I think.
Holstead, brilliantly placed ball here. Oh, it's a wonderful cutback as well, and the shot is blocked out for a corner. Huge last-ditch tackle, and in the end, it's Turnbull who's thwarted.
That was a great display of good attacking play and good defending. This was the earlier chance from Dequa. You see that touch is going well away. Yeah, he knew himself. You can see when he takes his big touch that he's not getting there, so he throws himself to the ground. Whether there's contact or not, I think the referee got this decision right. But this one, we saw great attacking play. This ball in behind, and then this is brilliant defending. It's Logue, I think, who gets his block on the ball. Great timing, adjusts his feet in a situation where it looked like Rhode Island were destined to take the lead. Logue comes up with an absolutely massive tackle.
Quizera will take the corner. A little bit of a hitch in his giddy up, and I think that threw off the delivery, and it goes out of play before it could get back to Albert Dequa.
But we definitely have an exciting game here. We've seen some brilliant attacking play, but also some equally matched excellent defending from both teams.
You can follow Rhode Island FC on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, and more to stay up to date with everything RIFC.
I think the success for Oakland in this game can definitely come on the counter-attack. I think Rhode.
Oh, again, it's one high up the field. Another chance! It goes wide of the target. Was there a touch? Yes, there was. Doyle this time is stopped, but again, Rhode Island will get a corner.
Yeah, I thought Doyle had actually dragged this shot, but seems like, again, good defending, got a block on the ball and just was able to get it wide of the target, but good play again from Doyle here to get it down and get his shot off. I think there is opportunity for Oakland Roots here on the counter-attack. When they do break quickly, there's space to penetrate, but the pass has to be good. It's the quality on the pass that's going to make the difference, because Rhode Island do a good job of transition defense and getting bodies back quickly, so you really have to attack at speed.
From the corner. It's placed in well, but it's well held by Paul Blanchard.
You could see the intent on the deliveries. Similar situation to last week.
Ooh, there was a little bit of an extracurricular moment there. Now it's Dequa saying Blanchette embellished, but Oakland are saying that someone may have walked over or maybe on to Paul Blanchette as he was lying on the ground with the ball. We will take another look at this. Oh, Doyle is the one that collides with him.
A little bit of sportsmanship from both. Obviously, Doyle was in no hurry to get out of his way, and Blanchette sees it as an opportunity where he could take a little bit of contact and go down.
Blanchette's recreating what Doyle did and saying that it should have been a yellow card. The referee disagrees on the yellow card portion of his argument.
Half of one, 6 a dozen of the other.
I think that's well said. You think it's intense? We're not even in September yet, folks. It's how it's going to be in the USL Championship the next couple of months. Almost every game has a significant impact on the table, really in the East and in the West. Here's Oakland coming up the other end, trying to get a foothold into the match. Riley, and there was a collision away from the ball. Quizera, I think, is going to be penalized here. Tamakis was held up. It's an Oakland free kick.
And given in this opening 30 minutes, the home team has been the better team so far. As you would naturally expect, the run of form that they've been on, home stadium, home fans. However, still 0-0. So Oakland are very much still in the game. And as I mentioned, I feel like there is opportunity for them on the counter-attack if the quality of the final pass is a little bit better and they're able to keep the momentum going forward. Because Rhode Island do attack with a lot of numbers. They throw bodies forward, they're expansive. So on the counter-attack, they are open, but they do a good job of trying to get back goal side of the ball as quick as possible. So the players don't amble about when they transition defense, they sprint back. So unless you're very effective.
Ooh, that's a good ball in on the Oakland set piece. It's headed away by Karifa Yao, and Oakland will get a corner.
Unless you're very effective with those counter-attacks in terms of the speed of runs, the weight of the pass, and execution in the finish, Rhode Island do a good job of getting back into good defensive position.
I have to mention as well, we've been talking about how good Rhode Island have been recently. Oakland on the road have had good results this season, and it's because of moments like that. It's a towering header by Neville Hackshaw. And the Roots, against the run of play, have the lead in Rhode Island.
Unstoppable. The delivery, the timing of the run, and the connection with the ball. Hackshaw here comes through like a steam train. There's no stopping him when the execution is that good. Delivered into the perfect area, just over the near post area to the first man. Hackshaw's timing and arrival and the power on the header. Say no more.
Second goal this season for Neville Hackshaw. He's been Oakland's leader, really, these last couple of seasons. It's a captain's goal for the Roots. And they lead after absorbing so much of Rhode Island's pressure. That's why Oakland's had success on the road this season.
And we spoke about Rhode Island last week and their success from dead ball situations, but they're on the receiving end this week. in all honesty, it's one of those deliveries and those balls where everything just went right. The delivery on the ball, the timing of the run, and Hackshaw put so much power onto that header. No chance for Koke Vegas in goal. It was just a moment of brilliance.
Last season, when Oakland faded at the end of the regular season, they ended up missing out on the playoffs. Neville Hackshaw was away on international duty with Trinidad and Tobago for a big stretch of that run-in. He's going to be so important to Oakland at the end of this season, and you just saw Exhibit A right there.
Yeah, and he brings a lot more than set pieces. His presence at the back, you can see his presence, number one, a huge figure at the back who defends very well. Number two, his ability to organize. You can see he's always communicating to the players left and right of him and the line in front of him. When you take that kind of figure out the team, there's nobody who you can just bring off the bench to replace that. He's your captain, he's your leader, he organizes, he performs well, he sets an example on the probably on and off the pitch. So obviously he's a huge impact to any, huge part of any success that they have.
Deco brought down, referee gives Rhode Island a free kick with the host looking to find a riposte in these last 10 first half minutes.
I would say that when he makes that run into the box, somebody's got to do a better job of stopping him from picking up momentum, because once he does pick up momentum and speed and he's coming through like a steam train like that, he's going to be very difficult to stop. So somebody had to get closer to him and just not allow him to get into a stage where he's able to pick up speed and momentum going forward like that. But it's a fantastic delivery into the right area.
We talked about earlier about Rhode Island getting a clean sheet. It won't happen. It's the 33rd goal that Cano Smith's side have conceded this season. That's one of the higher marks in the league. But they're pretty good at scoring them as well. And Grant Stoneman nearly scored his second goal in as many games.
Stoneman was obviously one of the scorers last week, getting the opportunity there again. So the confidence is there. Players attacking the right areas. The deliveries are coming in. Just probably connected with this ball a little bit more than he would have liked. A little less connection that probably finds itself into the back of the net with the momentum that it has.
Three-match mini plans are available. Secure your seat to 3 of Rhode Island FC's biggest games this season and get priority access to 2025 season tickets. You can scan the QR code or go to RhodeIslandFC.com right now to find out more.
I think this game tonight for Rhode Island is a big game for me. I feel like if they're able to pick up 3 points tonight, it really does change the belief for them going into these remaining 10 games. It really does give them hope that potentially they could be in the top 4. They're going to make the playoffs. They're able to beat teams who have been longer established and performing well this season. I think it really does go on to kind of cement their place like, hey, we're going as far as we can this season, and builds confidence in both the fans, the organization, and the front office. If they don't pick up those 3 points, I think it kind of has the counter effect. So I think the second half is going to be a very exciting second half.
I can tell you that Hartford have equalized at home against the Lights, so it's 1-1 there in Connecticut, just about 88 miles away from here, of course. And in all the other games that are going on, besides the Louisville-Charleston game that just got underway, it's 0-0. All the road teams are leading. The Switchbacks are leading at Highmark right now against Pittsburgh. Oakland leads here. Loudoun leads in St. Petersburg against the Rowdies. That could be a gigantic result for Ryan Martin's side, but again, they're at around the same part in the match as we are. So we'll keep you up to date on those as we continue on into the night. And again, 4 games still have not even kicked off yet, so it's a full night of action all around the USL Championship.
Pittsburgh at home just hasn't been the same Pittsburgh at home this year as it been previously. They've been notoriously a fortress. Teams have been able to find a way to go there and take points this year. Oakland
were not one of those, I must say, but to your point, it has been a real up and down year for the Riverhounds, but they have time to get right back in the mix. As Fuson tries to make life difficult on Hackshaw, just found some ingenuity to get that away, and it's helped along for Camden Riley on this near side. Oakland finding a way to move this ahead. They'll have a chance to go onto this far side.
Yeah, it was good defending there from Hackshaw. While Fusion had all the momentum and speed, Hackshaw, just his positioning and use of his body just completely slowed him down and took his momentum away.
Rasmussen was dispossessed, but Gagi wins it back from Dequa. Rasmussen again with Stoneman on him.
And that's the quality of the pass that I'm talking about, is that when Oakland do win possession of the ball and they're driving forward and they've got Rhode Island backing up, the passes right now always seems to be behind the player moving forward, and it takes away the momentum and the speed going forward. They end up connecting passes sideways and backwards rather than penetrating lines and creating goal-scoring opportunities. That's going to be the difference in the success that they're going to have in this game, is being able to take advantage of those moments.
Oakland get a free kick here. Just over 5 minutes left in the half. Neville Hackshaw has the lone goal of the game with a brilliant header off an Oakland corner kick.
And in all honesty, that's all Oakland really have to report about in this first half. There's not been too much possession. There's not been too many patterns or penetration. There's not really been any standout individual performer. There's been one moment off a dead ball situation which has dictated the fate of the game right now.
Great ball played across. Ooh, was nearly put in by Nodarse of all people. But luckily for him, it looped over the goal. It's a corner, and more defending to do for Rhode Island.
Yeah, definitely some unorthodox defending here from Nodarse. But he finds a way to get it away from goal, albeit over his own crossbar.
Did not mean to do that, but luckily for him, the worst didn't happen there.
He has a nose for goal lately. Hopefully it's not going to be for his own goal.
Another Oakland corner from the same end that they scored earlier. And this time, Ibarra is the first man to get a touch onto it. Oakland will get a third set-piece opportunity in the sequence.
Looks like Nodarse is the man taking responsibility for paying a little more attention to Hackshaw. However, I feel like Hackshaw was still in a couple of yards of space there on his own.
Another try. This time Rodriguez fell to the ground. Again, Rhode Island get ahead to it first. It's a recycle for Diaz. Wonderful ball in behind. Babukar Njai leaves it. Rasmussen strikes it. And it looked like it was going wide from the minute he did hit the ball.
Just tried to catch everybody off guard, Rasmussen there. You imagine when this ball's cut back here that he's going to try and open his hips and bend it into the far corner. However, head down, tries to drill it into the near post, but just wide of the goal.
RIFC family 4-packs are now available. 4 tickets, 4 dogs, 4 drinks, 4 times the fun. Just $20 per person. Visit rhodeislandfc.com/tickets to learn more.
Love the bravery or the expansive style of Rhode Island when they're building from the attack. Koke Vegas joins into the back four and also almost becomes like a central defender. Obviously, they have to be very responsible in possession of the ball. If they lose the ball in possession in that area and Koke Vegas is outside of his box, the goal's wide open, but they trust themselves. They have a lot of confidence and belief.
Quizera, that's a rare miscue from him, but then it's given right back by Memo Diaz. Still time for a couple more moments here at the end of the half. And Oakland, thinking they had just won the ball back, give away a free kick. Karifa Yao, dispossessed by Camden Riley. Oakland again have a chance here. Johnny Rodriguez leads the break. Rodriguez continues to fight after he looked like he might have been dragged down. Rodriguez taking on all comers here to keep possession and finds Memo Diaz.
Brilliant defending from Yao, I think it is, who gets back there and makes the tackle. But again, it was another of those situations where Oakland are on the counter-attack. It needs to be a little bit more urgent, a little bit more pacing, and the quality of the pass needs to be good going forward to penetrate, and they don't release the ball quick enough. And the mentality and the approach of Rhode Island to defending, they get bodies back behind the ball quick enough to intercept any danger.
Hackshaw strides ahead. Finds Rasmussen. Rasmussen's pass was short. Doyle, can he keep this in play for Rhode Island? No, he cannot. We'll go back to Oakland after just a wonderful move here individually by Johnny Rodriguez.
And at some point, it's a great tackle from Yao. Brilliant. He's about 5 or 10 yards behind when Rodriguez is driving forward with this ball, and he gets back and he blocks that pass without giving away a free kick. Normally in situations like that, the defender ends up making a foul and giving away a free kick, but he manages to time his tackle perfectly.
And Najai is now in some discomfort, not for the first time tonight. He's been a little bit banged up in this first half for the Roots. Another look. I think to say the first half has been physical might be a little bit of an understatement.
I don't know if I say that tackle was physical. I say Najai's going to shrug that off and get on with it.
He's had a couple, though, in this first half, Najai, that he's had to deal with, to be fair.
It's part of the game. If your
Fair
opponent
enough.
can get into your mind and influence you and impact you in those ways, it's all part of the game.
Blanchett trying to make a couple of important stops already tonight. That looped over just about everybody's head. Tamakis was looking for a foul. It'll be Rhode Island's ball once their fans help them get it back.
Of course, for Oakland, when you're 1-0 in the lead and you're coming into halftime, you do make a little bit of meal out of these little instances, so you can kind of allow time to tick off the clock. It's a little bit of sportsmanship.
Lovely interplay there. Turnbull strides ahead. 2 added minutes to play. Turnbull tried to find Dikwa. Quizera onto the roof. A huge block at the back. I think that was Tamakis who got his boot in the way. It's a corner.
I actually thought Turnbull released this too early. Look at the amount of space he's got. He could have kept driving, but crosses it from deep. Gets a little bit lucky. It falls to Quizera. Beautiful ball control. Deflection takes it over the crossbar, but dangerous opportunity there for Rhode Island on the counter-attack. Just thought Turnbull could have done a little bit more. Keep driving forward, having a little bit more closer to goal before making that final pass.
Rhode Island pushing for a late equalizer at the end of the half. And from the corner, oh, it just went over the head at the near post. Couldn't quite see who that was.
Brilliant defending there from Johnny Rodriguez.
Back in by Quizera. Almost found Nodarse. It goes out for another Rhode Island corner.
Crazy moments. That's Nodarse heading it onto Hackshaw's head and then out of play. Frantic finish to the first half here.
8th corner of the half for Rhode Island. Ibarra. Right back in. And it goes wide of the target yet again. That time it was Karifa Yao.
Just backpedaling as this ball comes in. He just doesn't have enough momentum to guide it back on frame where it came from. Oakland will be relieved. Knowing there's only seconds to halftime, they'll go in with the upper hand.
Blanchett sends it up. Rhode Island keep this in play. Overhead kick from Dikwa. Quizera's pressure. It's going to go out of play. 2 minutes are up. First half is up here in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Very much against the passage of play, but Neville Hackshaw heads Oakland in front with 45 minutes to go.
Yeah, as was last week in favor of Rhode Island, set pieces always have a big say in what happens in the game, and Rhode Island didn't mark Hackshaw so well. Beautiful delivery into the box, a well-timed run and a steamboat header into the back of the net gives Oakland Roots a 1-0 lead right now.
To say it's well poised for the second half would be an understatement. Really well played from Rhode Island in this first half, but they trail. The Roots have the lead with 45 minutes to play thanks to Neville Hackshaw. Halftime is coming up next.
It is both. It is both. It is both. It is both. It's both.
Hey, thanks for the backup.
When you make your play and things just go your way,
I won.
That's a good play.
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has been a good play, awarding more than $57 billion to winning players, over $6 billion in commissions to local businesses, and over $8.8 billion to the general fund, supporting all of Rhode Island.
It's a really good play that can make your day.
The Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for Rhode Island for 50 years and counting.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
Miller Lite tastes great. Let's fill it. Tastes great. Let's fill it. Tastes great. It is both. It is both. It is both. It is both. It's both.
Hey, thanks for the backup.
Sean St. Jacques, Chris Nurse back here with you at the half. Oakland on top of Rhode Island by 1-0 with a very important second half still to come. These fans are winners of the seriously nice seat upgrade presented by Breeze Airways. Every match, 4 lucky fans are provided a premium match day experience courtesy of Breeze Airways. Time to give you that update on the Rhode Island Stadium for next season and see how the progress is moving along.
Dedicated Rhode Island FC fans and partners, thank you for joining us today to celebrate the final piece of structural steel being raised at the stadium at Tidewater Landing.
Stadiums, at their core, are gathering places. They bring communities together around a shared experience. These stadiums become a part of community, and the teams they host become a reflection of the community's culture and values.
Tidewater represents one of the largest and most significant private investments in our state's history.
This is the single largest private development investment in Rhode Island since the Industrial Revolution.
The Tidewater facility here is going to be second to none. It's going to be a premier gateway, a destination of Rhode Island, and a destination of Pawtucket.
This stadium, to me, will make us and take us to be one of the elite clubs and teams in our league, and hopefully a place that opponents hate to come. It's going to be windy, it's going to be breezy, it's going to be cold. We're going to be prepared for it. They're not.
All right, FC. Every single person here, whether you're involved in the project, here supporting soccer, here supporting Pawtucket, here supporting the openness of the riverfront, thank you. There are great things happening under the great leadership that you've heard here.
There's been a lot of doubters for this project. I won't mention names. There's been somebody that stopped me in public at the airport, like, hey, coach, you know that stadium's not going to get built, right? I'm like, pretty sure I was there 2 weeks ago.
Sean and Chris back here with you. Again, it's really both teams involved in our game tonight that have big announcements when it comes to the stadium. The Pawtucket Stadium is really coming along nicely, 10,500 plus expected, and then Oakland Coliseum is going to be Oakland's home next season, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's just the evolution of the sport in the US, but also the evolution of stadiums. Everything is becoming so technology-based that stadiums are having to upgrade to stay involved in the times, and technology is becoming a huge implementation in part of that. So excited to see what the future holds. We spoke a lot about AI, the impact that it's having on the game on the field, but also the impact it's going to have on off the field in stadium and fan experiences. A lot of exciting times ahead.
Gavin Glinton told us how excited he was that Oakland was going to be playing in the Coliseum next season. Here's more on that big announcement for the Roots.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. Maybe burning every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Deciding to go right up through the middle. A shot. Long range shot from Nordy. Stopped, and that one trickles in.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
History is made in Rhode Island.
Congratulations, Rhode Island FC, for achieving the dream and making this a reality.
Rhode Island FC, the Ocean State's only professional soccer team, has kicked off its historic inaugural season.
This is going to be a spectacle to enjoy.
Rhode Island on the board!
Family 4-packs are now available starting at just $20 per person. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the action. Get your tickets today.
The future is bright for Rhode Island FC.
Sean St. Jacques, Chris Nurse back here with you at the half. A big 45 minutes still to come here in Smithfield, Rhode Island. The Roots have the lead at the half. Let's take a look at what's going on around the USL Championship on a big Saturday night. And the first thing to look at, Louisville and Charleston, the two top teams in the league. Eden McFadden has put Lou City ahead.
Yeah, that Louisville versus Charleston game, obviously a very exciting encounter. Still a long time to play over there, but Loudon leading Tampa Bay is a little bit surprising. And we spoke about Pittsburgh's form so far this season at home down to Colorado Springs. Interesting to see how all of these games finish up.
Hartford was trailing earlier. They now have the lead as well at home. That's a big one if Hartford can grab that. Eastern Conference table, again, if Rhode Island can't get the result, there is a path for them to end the night outside of the top 8. But again, if they can come back, everything changes.
Yeah, North Carolina have been picking up steam lately also. Some big wins over the past couple of weeks. Just 3 points behind Rhode Island right now, sitting outside of the playoffs. Lots to play for tonight.
North Carolina's at San Antonio later on tonight if you want to watch that one. Western Conference standings, Oakland sitting good right now in third. They can improve on that if they see this out in the second half.
Yeah, and 11 games to finish off, 33 points at stake. If we look down the bottom of the table, you see Phoenix Rising outside of the playoffs, San Antonio outside of the playoffs. I wonder if that's how they're going to finish up this season. I doubt it. So there's still a lot of movement, a lot of changes that we're going to see in that top 8.
Tulsa, Phoenix, and San Antonio all have games in hand on Orange County and Monterey Bay. We'll step aside. Highlights, stats, and the second half kick are next.
Hey Providence, we're Breeze Airways, and we offer non-stop flights from Rhode Island's T.F. Green International Airport. We're redefining what it means to fly up front. This one's for you. Introducing Breeze Ascent, the newest, nicest way to fly. It's seriously comfortable, satisfying, and affordable. Book today at flybreeze.com and experience the nicest way to travel. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories, and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
When you make your play,
things just go your way. I won. That's a good play.
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has been a good play, awarding more than $57 billion to winning players, over $6 billion in commissions to local businesses, and over $8.8 billion to the general fund, supporting all of Rhode Island.
It's a really good play that can make your day.
The Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for Rhode Island for 50 years and counting.
Moments away from the start of the second half here in Rhode Island. Sean St. Jacques, Chris Nurse here with you. Let's go through the first half highlights between Rhode Island and Oakland. And Chris, this is one of the few opportunities the Roots had in the first half.
Yeah, and it was that man, Johnny Rodriguez, making runs in between centre-backs. Just unable to guide this on target. He does well, just wide of the upright.
But then in the 13th minute, we started to see the first of many Rhode Island chances.
Brilliant crossfield pass, and Fusion does ever so well to get this under control. Creates himself some space, it does everything right here, aiming for the side net and low and hard. Blanchette, equally matched, pushes it away from goal.
Yeah, Oakland were active defensively, that's for sure, in the first half. Another good bit of play here. This ended up being a dive from Dikwa.
Yeah, good run from Dikwa, but the touch was just a little bit heavy here, and he knows it, throws himself to the ground, hoping that the referee might bail him out and give a penalty kick, but the referee makes an excellent decision. No foul, no penalty.
Couple minutes after that, it was more good play from Rhode Island on the counter.
Bad giveaway here, and this is a great touch around the corner from Dikwa. And it's Doyle who controls it and releases a shot with his left foot, takes a deflection. I thought he dragged the shot, but it's actually a deflection and out for a corner.
Then the goal arrives off the head of Neville Hackshaw for Oakland.
Steam train Hackshaw here. You can see completely loses his marker. No, Darcy's nowhere near him when he's connecting with this ball. His delivery over the first man into a dangerous area. Textbook header from Hackshaw into the back of the net. Gives Oakland the lead.
That's where we stand right now. One shot on target apiece. You can see that Rhode Island had 3 more total shots, more possession, but comes down to being clinical in these big games, and Neville Hackshaw certainly was that in the first half.
And in the replay, you see it there. Hackshaw loses No Darcy's marking him, and he's completely free to attack that ball alone, and he punishes because of that. No Darcy has to do a better job of staying tight and closer to him in those situations.
Not sure if they call that a blood moon or maybe just almost a full moon, but it is getting to that time in the evening in the USL Championship. Crazy things do happen when the moon does crazy things.
That's exactly what I was about to say. They say when it's a full moon, crazy things happen.
We'll see if the second half provides us with more USL Championship craziness here on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Again, Sean St. Jacques, Chris Nurse, our entire crew, happy to have you with us on another fun Saturday night of USL Championship action. Oakland on the road are in front. They will control to start the second half, going from right to left. Rhode Island were the better team in that first half. I think that's fair to say, but they don't have anything to show for it yet as we begin an important second 45 minutes for both teams as a foul is committed here against the Roots. More talking and more extracurriculars. Tamakis getting involved with Quizera. It's going to be a free kick for Rhode Island after the dust settles and the words are exchanged.
And I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but being 1-0 down it's not really a problem for Rhode Island because they've been in the situations many times this season where they've been down, they've come back and either managed to tie the game, or like North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, they come back and win the game. So in terms of the players feeling, it's a case of they know they've been in this situation before. Now are they able to go out and execute and turn this around in the second half at home, in front of their home fans, who obviously packed the place out last week, a decent attendance again tonight. Can they flip this on its head as they have done many times this season? So I'm sure they're going into this second half with some confidence. As we mentioned, they were probably the stronger team in how they performed in the first half, but they finished the second half losing. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Oakland have another gear that they can step it up, or if Rhode Island just become a little bit more efficient in their attack and able to get the rewards of their play so far.
Again, the reason this game is so important, as we'll get to that in a second. Turnbull's in here for Rhode Island. He keeps on going, and Blanchette saves. My goodness. Steven Turnbull had a one-on-one shot with the goalkeeper, and Blanchette stopped him in his tracks.
And if there was ever a moment to become more efficient in attack, this was exactly an excellent play here from Turnbull. Probably should have kept going across Neville Hackshaw. He does excellent to stay with him and just keep trying to put him off. You can see the little grab. He's not fouling him, but he's doing enough just to obstruct him. The touch is away from goal, then gives Blanchette the opportunity to come down and close down the space. Again, you could say it's some good defending there from Oakland, but Turnbull should have really been a little bit more clinical there and got his team on the score sheet and leveled things up.
It's an HILB corner here for Rhode Island, and it comes up short. Johnny Rodriguez is able to clear that upfield. And again, the reason this game is so important, Rhode Island, there is a scenario where they could finish the night in 9th place in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. They'd have to see how Loudoun does at Tampa Bay. They're leading right now. That's step one. They'd have to lose here, but the third and final step would be North Carolina beating San Antonio later on. That's a 9 p.m. kickoff Eastern Standard Time, and that's where they could finish. But if Rhode Island can come back and win, they could finish in 4th at the end of the night. That's how drastic it is in the East right now. Oakland have a little bit more points and games to work with. They'd be slightly more vulnerable in that third spot with a defeat. But you can see the wide gap for Rhode Island depending on how the results go tonight.
Yeah, and I think we're probably discussing Rhode Island's positioning and potential a little bit more than they are. When we spoke to Kenneth Smith, he says it's cliche, but they're not looking at the table.
They have some defending to do here. Oh, it's lovely skill to get into the penalty area. And the shot is blocked. I think that was Tamakis again. He stays down with an injury. Rhode Island have every right to continue on. That's what they're going to do here. But if there's a give and go, Rhode Islanders saying there might have been a bit of holding there. I think the referee may have brought this back for a free kick as, again, Tamakis is down in a heap.
And it's good defending again from Hackshaw. The ball's played into the wide channel, into space, and his anticipation and positioning just allows him to snuff out any sort of danger, regain possession of the ball for his team on the counter-attack.
Another look.
Some clever play. Brilliant block again from Yao. And then play kicks off at the other end on a counter-attack for Rhode Island.
That collision with Karifa Yao is the reason why Brian Tamakis is in quite a bit of discomfort here for the Roots. You almost wondered if Tamakis had tried to do the same thing to Yao that he did to the first defender, if he had maybe opened himself up for an even better opportunity, or maybe had Johnny Rodriguez for support.
Yao's
taking the collision, I should say.
Yao's made 2 or 3 very important tackles so far in this game for Rhode Island.
Neither side has made a change, but I do start to wonder if Brian Tamakis can continue here. He looks in quite a bit of pain here. Gavin Glinton has the likes of Trayvon Reed, Lindo Mfeka, Irakosi Donaciano, Napo Matsoso, all available tonight off the bench. All candidates to come in for Tamakis if he can't continue. Gavin Glinton is, well, he's going to have to make a decision at some point here over what Oakland can do as far as Tamakis' progress and his status, really. Gavin Glinton is turned away, but Tamakis just went down again, by the way, on the, yep, there he is, on the left-hand side of the goal here. So we'll come back to that. Oakland, for now, we're going to mull that over as they defend the set piece the first time. Turnbull sends it right back into the mix. Hackshaw's header. Jai's control. Again, good follow-up by Turnbull. He wins it right back. Clay Holstead has a few different options here. Plays it to his left. Ibarra. Down the far side, Fuson, lovely give and go. Quizera into the middle. Blocked away by Riley. Out for another Rhode Island corner. I think that's their 10th of the match.
Yeah, Oakland have to make a decision quickly what they're going to do about Tamakis, because Rhode Island have been having the upper hand right now, creating chances and being very aggressive on the attack.
Holstead! Took out the hammer and smashed it over the top of Blanchette's goal.
Ambitious effort there. But you can see the ball's always rising here. At no point it starts to come down, and it's not far over the crossbar, but it was always going up and over. I think Blanchette was pretty confident in that one.
There's a number of Rhode Island players that can let it fly from quite some distance out. Clay Holstead is one of them. referee says enough to Paul Blanchette, who was having a conversation about something, and well, it does look like that Lindo Mfeka, he's out on the pitch there for Oakland. Tamakis is done. And certainly, Mfeka's a great candidate to come in and make an impact for the Roots down the stretch. He's a player that tends to come to the fore in these big games. Has 2 goals and 2 assists this season for the Roots, Lindo Mfeka. An errant pass gives it right back to Rhode Island here. Turnbull on the throw. Gets it back from Fuson and had 3 players to deal with. He's able to slide it through for Dikwa, who lost out to Hackshaw. And Hackshaw is fouled by Doyle on the backside, and now Hackshaw needs a moment or two.
Some good play from Turnbull there to find the forwards pass, but Hackshaw's positioning, his anticipation, his awareness, his being on the front foot to intercept has been exceptional tonight.
One back by Quizera. Quick feet to get into space. Hackshaw tries to slow him down. Quizera still holds on to it. Fuson, a back heel, trying to find Dikwa, but no one was really there. Not the best clearance, right back to Quizera. And Quizera wins a corner after another chaotic sequence.
Rhode Island really doing a great job of sustaining pressure in the attacking third right now. Even Oakland's clearances, they're just falling to Rhode Island's players. It feels like they do have an extra man right now. They don't, because obviously they made the substitution with Mfeka coming in, but their anticipation, their awareness, their positioning has the upper hand over Oakland right now.
HILB group corner for Rhode Island. Ibarra to take. Ibarra's ball in over the head of Yao, and then it pinballs around off of Dikwa, and I think off of Hackshaw. Hackshaw stays down. Not sure the referee signaled who that was last off of. It looked like it might have been a corner. Blanchette is shoved to the ground, and tempers continue to fray in this fixture.
Whipped in delivery, a little bit of ping pong in here. Fires off Riley, then Hackshaw's face heads it out. Don't think he knows too much about that. Then there's a little Blanchette, Yao, Hackshaw's on the floor getting treaded on. He doesn't even know much of what's going on above him.
I think it was Karifa, Yao, and then no Darce now, and Blanchette goes to the ground a second time. Rhode Island players are saying that Blanchette keeps throwing himself to the ground, but putting your arms on him is not what Rhode Island needs to do right now. That's asking for a yellow or maybe more.
All this happening while Hackshaw is still on the floor, dizzy from the ball smashing him in the face.
In games like this, cooler heads tend to prevail, and Rhode Island's are not very cool right now.
Yeah, and you saw early in the first half that Blanchette tries to get under your skin a little bit. He tries to get the referee on his side. Sportsmanship a little bit, play acts a little bit. Any opportunity you give him to get the upper hand on you or get you into a situation with the referee, he's going to use to his advantage. And it's smart. It's a little bit tricky, but game's getting a little bit out of control here. Referee needs to take a strong stance.
No, Darce got a yellow, it looked like, but the referee might not be done here. The book is still out. Looks like Dikwa also received a yellow for his part in the pushing. So I think no, Darce and Dikwa, we'll confirm that, but it looks like those are the two that got yellows. There's still a corner for Oakland to defend here.
Yeah, and obviously there's a significant stop in time now, so momentum, concentration, focus, all these things get disturbed a little bit when these instances happen.
From the corner, it's headed towards Doyle. Shepherded out for a goal kick. And we just got the confirmation that, again, no Darce booked for Rhode Island for the second push, but it was Dikwa on the first push who also received a yellow, and that's exactly what Paul Blanchette wanted to have happen in that situation.
Yeah, he's getting into the minds and affecting the players and distracting them from their game a little bit.
And to your point, Rhode Island are at a breakneck pace, creating chance after chance. That's how you slow down some momentum.
And the fans are making their opinions known also.
Rhode Island go right back to work. Quizera. A push and a chase towards the byline. Great ball across, Hackshaw's header. Only as far as Turnbull. Turnbull cuts it back, serves it over the top of Doyle and out of play.
And that's the danger that Quizera brings on that left-hand side. He's had a difficult night because Oakland have done a good job of getting numerous bodies out there so that he's not isolated 1v1, but you can see when he does get up 1v1 against you, he's not scared to get the ball down and try and take you on, and he does exactly that in that situation, puts it down. Once the defender gets backpedaling, he's driving him, get it out his feet and whipping dangerous balls into the box. That's what Quizera does on a consistent basis, and he's not been able to do it tonight, but I feel like Rhode Island will get success if they start isolating him, allowing him to get in those 1v1 situations.
Much like we saw at times in the first half, Oakland just trying to bend and not break and then find something up the other end, as that's a misplaced pass by Blanchette. Ibarra. Doyle! Ibarra back into the middle again by Doyle after the save by Blanchette. It's still kept alive. It'll be recycled all the way back to Stoneman.
Rhode Island banging on the door right now. Chance after chance, sustaining pressure, keeping possession. Oakland under a lot of significant pressure right now. It's going to be interesting to say there's so much time left in the second half. They can't just play attack versus defense for the remainder of the game. But Rhode Island have to be very careful because on the counter-attack, they are vulnerable with the numbers they're throwing forward.
Fuson couldn't quite slip it through for Dequel after more strong play from Quizera. And Memo Diaz leads Oakland up the field with Mfeka. Approach the hour mark in what has been, well, a really, really physical, passionate, and high-intensity contest. Neville Hackshaw's goal in the first half has the Roots ahead for now.
They got to find Quizera quicker. They're making 4 or 5 passes when the opportunity to get Quizera out there earlier with maybe a longer ball or a more direct ball to his feet. It's there to line him up 1v1.
Stoneman tried to pick out a teammate down this near side. It didn't work out. Yao gets back onto it, has to be careful. Finds Coque Vegas. More good pressure. That's going to be an Oakland throw after a great save here by Blanchette.
Ball was just zipping across the face of the goal. You can see he just adjusts his feet quickly and is able to push it away.
Looks like it's going to be a substitution here for Rhode Island. Stephen Turnbull, he's going to be taken out. And we are going to see J.J. Williams enter the fray for the hosts.
Interesting substitution. Turnbull, I thought, was having a decent match. Obviously, he had that chance early at the beginning of the second half that he could have equalized for his team. He's been delivering crosses. He's been pressing aggressively. I thought he's been fairly effective tonight, but obviously Williams is an out-and-out goal scorer, number 9. It's going to be interesting to see how this changes the dynamic of the way Rhode Island are playing.
He does only have 1 goal for Rhode Island this season. However, he also has 4 assists.
Yeah, he's able to hold the ball up and allow players to get higher up the field and support. Whilst he may only have 1 goal, his involvement in others being able to get themselves on the score sheet has been seen numerous times so far this season. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to now create space for the likes of Quizera and Dequel to get in possession of the ball in better situations high up by attracting that attention and pressure from the opponents.
Rhode Island FC is now accepting priority deposits for the 2025 season at their new stadium. Scan the QR code or go to rhodeislandfc.com. Secure your seat now.
Cano Smith already alluding to how difficult or hostile it's going to be for opponents when they come in there, whether it's the wind, the fans, the temperature. Already looking at ways where they're going to use that stadium to home field advantage and make it a fortress.
Got another really good crowd tonight after it was a sellout here against Hartford last weekend in the derby, as this is going to be brought back. Niall Logue perplexed, but I believe it's going to be a Rhode Island free kick. Fuson will take. You can hear the fans chiming in. They know how important this game is. Not just for the near future, but for the future of Rhode Island's season, potentially, as Blanchette didn't quite get that right. Stoneman tries to shoot. Williams couldn't quite square it up.
Just needs one player in that box with a little bit of quality. We see some swinging at the ball. Nobody gets a good, clean connection. Blanchette comes out waving. Stoneman tries to swing his left foot here, doesn't get a good connection. Williams tries to swing his right, slices it. But again, Rhode Island banging on the door, banging on the door. Chance after chance, just lacking a quality opportunity.
I think Rhode Island were claiming that there was a deflection on the J.J. Williams shot. It has been given as a goal kick to Oakland, but I think at this point, everyone's going to be contesting everything down the stretch. Fuson. Island put their foot right back on the gas. Doyle cuts inside. Doyle again, blocked by Logue. It'll stay with Rhode Island. The Irishman with some lovely skill.
Yeah, Doyle he's got Ramussen treading water. You can see he shifts it for the ball from his right foot to his left foot to his right foot. Ramussen doesn't know which way to show him at that point.
Blanchette over the top of Dequa to collect.
Good anticipation here from Blanchette. Eyes on the ball, read the flight of it. Safe hands. Doyle got Ramussen treading water there.
Doyle again, gliding past Riley. Quizera. And still has his shot, or I should say his pass, really, blocked away. Williams follows up, but it's going to be a Roots throw with 25 minutes left, plus stoppage time.
Once Quizera starts building momentum as driving forward at that ball, he's extremely difficult to stop. He just glides past defenders. You can see he picks up this ball in time and space. His first touch is forward. Backpedaling, just left, right. Once he's gone past you, he's gone. And again, great cover in there. Unable to see who it was who made the block, but defensively, some big-time defending from Oakland Roots right now.
Gavin Glitton's side fighting with all they have to hold on to their lead, as we tell you that you can feel the heartbeat of Rhode Island FC with RIFC Pulse. Scan the QR code or text 401-249-4857 to stay in the loop on all things Rhode Island FC with text alerts. Ibarra trying to find Holstead, who didn't quite have the angle to really attack it. Stoneman on the refresh. Fuson in behind, too far in front of the aforementioned Clay Holstead.
Right idea, just a little bit too hard, but you can see Fuson is now operating on this wide right-hand side with Turnbull leaving and Williams occupying as a 9. It looks like Doyle's come to the right-hand side, is playing a little bit higher. And indeed, we're operating on the left-hand side, playing a little bit higher. So it looks like Rhode Island have switched their formation and they're playing with 3 attackers now, in comparison to the 3-5-2 that they started with.
Remember, these two teams are meeting for the very first time tonight. I think the Rhode Island fans are not going to forget about Paul Blanchette for quite some time, regardless of the outcome of this one. 2 updates to give you, by the way, from games going on elsewhere. Pittsburgh have equalized against the Switchbacks, so it's 1-1 at Highmark. Around the same time we are at here, as it's going to be a free kick for the Roots. Still 1-0 Loudoun. The Rowdies have gone down to 10 men in St. Petersburg. That could be a huge, huge help to Ryan Martin's team's cause, and not good news for Rhode Island here, considering that, again, they could finish the night in 9th if that holds, and Carolina goes to Texas and beats San Antonio later on tonight. That game's about to kick off. And if Hartford holds on, by the way, they're still ahead, they would end Vegas's 11-game unbeaten run. That's another big story tonight. Quizera is stood up. Lindo Mfeka with some wonderful defending.
Brilliant defending there from Mfeka. Just reads him, is patient, then uses his body. If you see the way he uses his arm to regain possession of the ball, he doesn't need to get in a foot race with him. It's all about his positioning in his body.
He's looking for a foul. It's not given. J.J. Williams up ahead. It's a poor pass, and it's cut out by Gagi. And then it's going to be a Rhode Island free kick as Yao is fouled. And Rhode Island are going to make another change here. Morris Duggan, who they just got on loan from Minnesota United in MLS, comes on, and Marky Barra, beg your pardon, a former Pittsburgh player, makes way.
Yeah, Kenneth Smith spoke about how Duggan is going to add quality and experience both on and off the field. Feels like it's a good signing to strengthen them from where they already are right now.
Bit of a waste in the end there on the turning shot from J.J. Williams. Oakland will be satisfied with that, and they'll get a goal kick. Remember, you can follow at Rhode Island FC on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook to stay up to date with everything RIFC. Or Twitter, I guess, as some still call it. Oakland clinging to their 1-0 lead. Neville Hackshaw back in the 33rd minute with a wonderful header. Has Oakland in line for the points for now, but Rhode Island keep on pushing. Again, Williams is looked for. It falls for Doyle. Doyle sends it well wide.
And that's where you just see Williams' contribution. Just being able to attract pressure and create that space for Doyle to make the run from outside to in. You can see Doyle shifts it onto his left foot and just tries to bend it into the corner, but a lot of power in it. Doesn't get a whip or bend on it. They quite would have liked to see it hit the back of the net, but you can see the connection of the wide players coming in with Williams being that central figure.
Oakland are about to make at least one, possibly two changes here. Cam Riley on a yellow card. He's going to come out. Irakosi Donaciano is going to take his place. Trayvon Reed is also going to come on. Najai is going to exit on a double change from Gavin Glinton. Just about all the players we anticipated Gavin Glinton using are now out there on the pitch for the final 20 minutes plus.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you wouldn't necessarily say these are defensive substitutions. Away from home, 20 minutes left, maybe you bring on more defensive-minded players to try to shut up shot and stifle Rhode Island's attack, but they're as offensive as anybody else that's been on the pitch tonight. So Oakland definitely not looking to park the bus. They're definitely looking still to post their own attacks.
Oh, J.J. Williams, was he brought down by Hackshaw? Yes, and it's a red card as well. Neville Hackshaw brought down, or I should say brings down, J.J. Williams, and he's sent off. It's a straight red, and Oakland are down to 10 for the remainder. Could be a huge moment in the match.
Yeah, Hackshaw knows. You could tell from his reaction, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what the repercussions were. If they're able to go on and defend this, they know maybe it was a good choice. Sometimes you have to make a foul like that to keep your team in the game if it's outside the box, which it looks like it is. But he knows that he's got no questions whatsoever, and that was a red card, and it's going to be very difficult for his team now. We spoke about what he brings to that back line. His presence himself, his anticipation, his leadership, his communication. Now they're without all of that for the remaining 20 minutes of this game. We spoke about Rhode Island being down many times this season, coming back, tying games, potentially winning. Said to be a very exciting remaining closure to this game. 20 minutes left, 20+ minutes left.
Again, the red card is for the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. From the ensuing set piece, the shot is deflected, and Oakland clears it away. Oakland had their backs against the wall already with Hackshaw on the pitch. Now without him, it's really going to be some last-ditch defending needed to survive.
Wasted opportunity to test Blanchette there. The set piece was in a great area there to get a shot off on goal.
Now any opportunity Oakland can get some possession is going to be vital for their hopes here. Mfeka onto this near side, that's Gomez for Rasmussen. Blanchette sends it ahead. Again, Oakland down to 10 men. Straight red card for the goal scorer, Neville Hackshaw.
And that's what they need to avoid, is needless turnovers. They had good possession of the ball there, switching the field from side to side, then it's just a ball played into space, into no one, which just gives Rhode Island the opportunity to build their attack again.
No Darcy.
And we spoke about some of the substitutions being offensive for Oakland, and then you lose your captain, you lose your centre-back after making those offensive substitutions and not bringing in defenders to try and seal the result or protect the lead that you have.
Free kick for Oakland when it nearly bounced in the right direction for Doyle. Rodriguez does just enough to get the call.
But the onus is really on Rhode Island now to get themselves on the score sheet. You're at home, coming off a fantastic win last week. You have a man advantage. Now it's about creating those opportunities and being clinical in the final third. They've had a couple opportunities that they should have probably converted. We look back at Diko's opportunity where he goes for the dive. In reflection, it should have been a better touch and he should have finished it off. Then we talk about Turnbull's opportunity when he went back in the beginning of the second half. Great opportunity to get his shot off on goal. Took a little bit longer than a light. Defender gets back, goalkeeper comes out and snuffs it out. So now they really have to create some quality goal-scoring opportunities in the remaining 20 minutes of this game.
Holstead. Williams keeps it alive. This is Grant Stoneman. Lovely ball. Fuson into the middle. That was blocked. Blanchette just about gets to it at the second attempt.
And this is where Blanchette's being smart, but the referee knows it's 6 seconds is 6 seconds. Obviously, Blanchette is going to play as long as he can. He's going to keep the ball in possession as long as he can. He's going to try and get the seconds to tick off the clock. But this is where Rhode Island want the ball back in play. That's about 20 seconds he's had possession of that ball now. That's why I still ask the question, does the 6-second rule still count, or the referee's not enforce that any longer? Because this is the moment when Rhode Island are trying to get the momentum, trying to get back into the game, and essentially the goalkeeper's not following the rules and is playing to his advantage. It's on the referees to force that.
Was played out wide by Duggan. Mfeka tries to help it along. Quizera keeps possession for Rhode Island. 14 minutes plus stoppage time. Up a man. Try to get some points on the board. Vegas up ahead. It's flicked on. This is Albert Dikwa. And his shot is blocked, and the offside flag was up anyway.
And it's Logue again, whether the flag is up or down. It's another fantastic defensive block from Logue. Dikwa makes the run in behind there, and he gets good connection on the ball, but look at the timing from Logue to get there. Doesn't even allow the goalkeeper to have to make a save because the defenders are doing their job so well.
Looks like Oakland are going to make another alteration or two here. This is Gomez who makes way, and Johnny Rodriguez, he's gonna go out as well. Matt Soso comes on the first change with Gomez, and Thomas Kami, a defender, is going to come on to try to help Oakland hold on for the last 13 minutes and change.
Yeah, they needed a little bit more defensive stability, and Hopefully these two can come in and provide, because Rhode Island right now are banging on the door aggressively.
Should mention as well, Gavin Glinton has no more changes available. So this is what he has left to try to win the game. Here is Doyle. Doyle to the byline. He's going to run out of room. First contribution from the substitute Camille.
You can see Doyle and Deco just switching sides. Deco's predominantly been on the left-hand side. They're just switching things up, trying to pose different problems to this Oakland defense to see if they can try and break the deadlock and get themselves on the score sheet.
Pre-match mini plans are now available. Secure your seat to 3 of Rhode Island FC's biggest matches of the season. Get priority access to 2025 season tickets. Scan the QR code now or go to RhodeIslandFC.com. Saw the updates from Tidewater Landing in Pawtucket at halftime. It's gotten under wonderful construction. Progress has been made, and the crowds here are as great as they've been all season. We can't wait to see how they're going to be next year. But again, Cano Smith has a lot to worry about right now, of course. Even Gavin Glinton told us, you know, as great as the Oakland Coliseum announcement is, there's business to handle in the near future first before we can celebrate that in true fashion.
Yeah, and I think what Cano Smith has done is he's found a great way to stay leveled and not put unrealistic expectations or pressure on the players. Even when we spoke to him and we said, look, you have a great opportunity to jump into the top 4. He's like, we're not thinking about that as a group or a team or discussing it. We're just trying to get as many points as we can, win as many games as we can this season, and where we finish is where things are going to be this season. So really finding a way to keep the team, organization, everybody level-headed and manage expectations in this opening year, because it takes time to build great things. And, you know, in an expansion year, it's very difficult to come in and challenge some of these very well-established teams who have built their roster over years.
Hartford have beaten Las Vegas, so that unbeaten run comes to a close for the Lights. Loudoun are 2-0 up against 10-man Tampa Bay in St. Petersburg. That could be a gigantic win for Ryan Martin's group. 0-0 early stages in San Antonio with North Carolina in progress as well. Rhode Island can change all of this, by the way, by getting an equalizing goal. Duggan fizzes one out to the far side. Played across by Quizera. It's out for another Rhode Island corner with 10 minutes of the 90 remaining.
And Rhode Island, they've played well tonight. You know, it's not like they're losing the game because they've not played well. They just haven't been able to create any clear goal-scoring chances.
Oh, it's a miscued kick. No, Darcy! Blanchette saves it through the crowd.
And he's had a few big saves tonight, Blanchette. When he's been called upon, he's been there and ready. It's not the best effort. It's not destined to be a goal, but it's on target. It's on frame in front of a lot of bodies, and sometimes the deflection or just the visibility for the goalkeeper is difficult. That finds its way into the back of the net, but Blanchette did it excellent there to keep his eye on the ball. And gather the ball back for his team.
Not the best of clearances by Blanchette, but it bounces Oakland's way. And the offside flag goes up against Trayvon Reed, who actually could have made something out of that. He had poked over his shoulder.
Yeah, Mafeka feeding Reed there. Mafeka's done well since he's come onto the field, whether it's been winning possession of the ball, 1v1 battles, keeping possession. He's had a positive impact since he's come on for Oakland.
Stoneman. Rhode Island starting to maybe peek at the clock a little bit more than they were earlier in the half. Sent towards the 18-yard box, but too far in front of Fuson to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, Rhode Island just have to be patient. Don't get desperate and start to hit hopeful passes. They have the numerical advantage. They can keep possession of the ball and create goal-scoring opportunities. Oakland have obviously got everybody back behind the ball, so it is going to come to a point where they've got to get the ball wide, deliver crosses. They're going to have to try and pick up second balls. They're going to have to take shots from distance. They're going to have to capitalize on set pieces, because the space just isn't going to be there for them to penetrate with Oakland defending so deep. If
Oakland wins, They'll be level on points with second place Sac Republic. As Trayvon Reed gets past Nodarse. Still Reed, it took a deflection. And it goes out for a corner. Trayvon Reed does brilliantly for the Roots there.
Yeah, Nodarse's had a couple of shaky moments defensively tonight. We spoke about Hackshaw's goal, how he lost Hackshaw. Hackshaw was free for the header, and that was the man he's supposed to be taking care of and marking. And again, moments like that, getting beat 1v1 defensively in the box.
Will the Roots go for the jugular here, or will they just keep it in the corner? Comes the question now. Feka. Let's keep some possession here. Rasmussen. Way back for Camille, and now Blanchette. 7 minutes plus stoppage time left for Rhode Island to try to find an equalizer.
Yeah, well, I do feel that they need to try and slow down the tempo of play as much as possible. And I imagine there's going to be a significant amount of additional time also, given some of the stoppages that we had. Probably too early to be going to the corner.
Rhode Island will make a change. Joe Brito, who scored the third goal against Hartford last time out, he is on. Grant Stoneman is off. That is a very clear attacking move from Kano Smith.
Yeah, Brito scored in stoppage time last week against Hartford. Obviously eager to get himself on the score sheet again tonight with probably at least a good 15 minutes remaining, I would say.
And we'll see what the fourth official says. Still a long way to go when we get to that. Quizera, he's stopped in his tracks. Rhode Island will get the throw. Kano Smith helping out, getting the ball replenished. Oakland down to 10. Hackshaw with a goal and a sending off for the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity for Oakland. Fuson cuts in field, looks for an opening and bends it into the middle. That was another big intervention from Niall Logue. Reed's header helps it further upfield.
And whilst we have given Rhode Island credit for being the better team, you also have to give Oakland a lot of credit for the way that they've defended. While they haven't had the best possession of the ball, they've been challenged to defend well throughout the course of the game. And for the most part, they've come up well defensively in the way they've approached it.
Duggan. Rhode Island are going to have to dig in if they're going to find something here at the end. Holstead loops it high into the air. Fuson's header. He's going to go out of play.
And you can see Oakland just frustrating Rhode Island right now and forcing them into these errors. There's a pass there that Fuson's going to struggle to get under control. It's not his chest where he can bring it down, get it down, and keep it moving. It's at his head where he's just trying to get connection on the ball in a very difficult area where he's not going to get any kind of guidance on target. And they're forcing Rhode Island into these kind of passes and these kind of decisions right now because the defensive shape and organization is good right now.
Yao for Duggan. Duggan up ahead for Doyle, and Doyle loses his footing. He says he was fouled. Gagi will clear this for Oakland. Helped along for Trayvon Reed. It's lovely give and go play, but Reed is beaten to it by Duggan, who was there to cover.
Good play again from Mafeka. I think they're in the middle of the park, just one touch passing.
Brito. Oh, it's on a plate, and it's an equalizer! Headed home by Albert Dequa. And Rhode Island do level the match with 3 minutes to play. 1-1.
And it comes off a moment of Oakland having good possession of the ball and giving it away. And you look, they've lost their defensive shape and their stability and structure. A great delivery. Dequa's timing of his run. Brilliantly glanced header into the far corner, giving Blanchette no chance. And they've leveled things up. With a man up, with 10 minutes remaining in this game, can they go on and get the winner?
Seventh goal of the season for Albert Dequa. It's a Capelli Sport Rhode Island goal. And all of a sudden, things look a lot different here in Smithfield. Dikwa, Brito, tried to return the favor. Holstead. Fuson, headed by Quizera, out of play.
The pressure built up for Rhode Island, and finally they were able to break through Oakland's defense, and Dikwa get himself on the score sheet. But we talk about the impact of substitutions. It was Brito who had the quality in the moment to deliver the pass for Dikwa to finish. And it's Cano Smith making that change at the right moment in the game to get him back into the game, and the impact that substitutions, the depth they have in the roster, the players are able to come in and have that impact. Brito again for the second week coming into games and having an impact in goal scoring chances.
You said it, Chris, there's going to be 2 minutes and then there could be a hefty chunk of stoppage time left for one of these two teams to still go on and win it.
But just before Rhode Island picked up the ball to go in and create the opportunity, Oakland in a similar situation like this where they had possession of the ball, players running forward, but then they lost their defensive shape. They were wide open because they were attacking, and on this moment Rhode Island had the quality to punish them and open them up.
Quizera, I think, gets booked for this challenge, yes, on Napo Matsoso. By the way, that's the third Rhode Island player on a yellow card. No, Darce, Quizera, and Dikwa all have to be careful, especially if there is going to be a hefty chunk of stoppage time to come.
We spoke about Rhode Island's resilience and just finding a way not to lose games. Even when they find a way to come back and get the tie, and they've done that again tonight in the closing stages of the game. Albeit they're competing now against 10 men, but now I want to see if they have the onus and the urgency to go ahead and try and push for that winner.
It would be Rhode Island's 12th draw of the season if it holds like this, but it very well may not. Here's Brito again. It's played across. It's a chance for Quizera. He fires one in, and Doyle, did it go over the line? Did it go over the line? The assistant says no. Blanchette kept it out.
And I've got a double no on that because Doyle's headed it exactly where Blanchette is. He's not headed it to the side of him where the save's difficult. He's headed it straight into Blanchette's hands. You expect him to save it straight into his hands. You haven't headed it in either side of him to make the save difficult for him. So no, there's no way unless he's standing. Maybe his feet are behind the line, but I think the save is straightforward enough for him that there's no need for him to be crossing the line with that ball. The ball's directly at him. It's a fairly straightforward save for him in the end.
I think Blanchette did take a couple of awkward steps, but it definitely did not look like it crossed the line.
I think if Doyle heads that either side of him, it's in the back of the net. He doesn't have even a chance to get his hands on it, but he heads it straight at him. Great opportunity for the winner there.
You were right, Chris. Big chunk of stoppage time left. We still have 7 minutes to play here in Rhode Island. This ball pinballs around. Fuson gets it past Rasmussen. Fuson into the middle, blocked the first time. It's played back again. Logue denies the cross again, and it's out for another Rhode Island corner.
Brilliant defending again. Man down under pressure, tired legs now because that man that they're missing is now starting to creep in on their energy and players are starting to fatigue. But Logue again comes up massive with a double block against Fuson.
Quizera to take. From the corner. Oh, it's headed right down the middle by Karifa Yao, and Blanchette stops it.
Great delivery and a great connection on this header from Yao, but Blanchette's positioning straight into his hands. Rhode Island continue to bang at the door looking for that go-ahead goal. Will we see it?
The door is slightly ajar right now for both sides.
I think if you're Oakland and you leave with a point tonight, you have to be happy with that based upon the way the game has gone.
Still time for Rhode Island to complete the turnaround, or for Oakland to find an unlikely winner. With so much in both conference standings hanging in the balance here. Matsoso is fouled, and this is pretty promising for Oakland. They can put this into the penalty area if they feel like putting all their chips in the middle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do here, whether they go to the corner and try and knock seconds off the clock, or if they try and put it into the box. Obviously, Hackshaw is one of their main targets. And do you really want to send your centre-backs up into the box at this phase of the game and possibly get caught in a counter-attack? Maybe, maybe not. It's going to be interesting to see which approach they take.
Gaggy's up there to answer part of your question. Rasmussen to take. Might be one of the few opportunities Oakland gets in the attack here. And Rasmussen's ball in. It was nudged along. No Darce was able to get past a challenge and send it ahead for Williams. He doesn't have the best first touch, and Oakland will corral the possession. And now it's played up ahead to Trayvon Reed. Reed! Could have done a bit better there, I think. He ends up shanking it wide of the target.
Shank is an understatement. The idea was good. The way he opened up his body, was looking to bend it into the far corner, but there was just no bend on it. The ball just goes straight out for a throw-in from a fairly dangerous area.
And Memo Diaz was right in the middle, waiting for the pass. He's on it here, though. This is Lindom Feka. Oh, it's brilliant work. Can he find Reed? No, it doesn't fall to him. Rhode Island clears.
And this is the ability to counter-attack. Look, Oakland have tired legs. They're not getting back too quick defensively. Rhode Island throwing bodies forward.
Brito for Fuson. Fuson across, and it's a miscued touch by Clay Holstead. Goal kick for Oakland.
Big moment there. Heavy, heavy, heavy touch from Holstead. Plays into the favor of Oakland, sending the ball out for a goal kick. He even needs to let this go, or he has to do a better job of getting it under control. But he essentially did the defensive work there for Oakland himself.
Still 3 minutes, maybe a little bit more after that, we will see. For someone to grab some late glory in what's been another roller coaster ride of a match in the USL Championship tonight.
You see the frustration. Blanchett single-handedly is frustrating Rhode Island right now. He has enough experience in his man management to take every second that he can to try and drain this off. He knows they're under pressure right now.
Cano Smith wants the fourth official to take account of every second that Blanchett wastes.
As they should. He's not wrong in that.
It's an Oakland throw, and of course they're not going to be in any hurry to take it. Matsoso won't even take the ball off the Rhode Island players. Gavin Glinton's nearly down on his knees. Cano Smith is fighting for everything. It's late season USL Championship drama. And it's going to be a yellow card for time wasting. Oakland, it took too long, not just to take the throw, but to get the ball to take the throw. And a yellow card comes out.
And at this phase of the game, if you're the coach, you're not fussed about that yellow card. You're probably a little bit happy that he's taken it. It's just more time ticked off the clock.
It's Memo Diaz who was booked there for Oakland for holding onto the ball for too long. No Darce. Could be last chance saloon here for Rhode Island. Getting towards the final minute. Quizera. It's Williams. It's wide.
Difficult header there for Williams. Backpedaling. Ball's going above his head. Just tries to glance it towards goal. Even had it been on target, I think Blanchett would have been fairly comfortable handling that.
Blanchett's asking the referee to check the watch as he wastes some more time for Oakland.
Even the fans running the countdown on Blanchett right now.
I have to say, it tends to come down to the referee's discretion how much more time is played after a minimum amount of stoppage time is done. How much was it factored in really depends on the referee. So we will see how much more time these two teams have left.
I think there's still definitely one more goal scoring opportunity in this game.
Referee just had a peek at the watch. No Darce. Fuson. Fuson into the middle. It's over Blanchett. It's Doyle's header. It's still not clear. Dikwa tries to recycle it. Fuson gets on the end of it. Fuson into the middle. It's Quizera's touch. He just keeps it in. Can Rhode Island find one more moment? Holstead, the 7 minutes are up. And that's it. Honors even. In Smithfield, Rhode Island, the 10 men of Oakland smuggle a point back to the West Coast, and Rhode Island, who fight back to get a point, miss out on all three in the end.
And the chances were there, even that last delivery that comes in and Doyle just heads it into the danger area. There's just nobody making the run, but it's a good performance from Rhode Island, banging on the door consistently, created a number of chances, just lacked a little bit of killer instinct inside the box. For Oakland, I think they can take that as a point gained rather than 2 points lost. They came to a tough place, to a team in good form, and they go back to California with 1 point.
The good news for Rhode Island is that they'll at least stay in the top 8 because they did gain a point. And both coaches not thrilled with the referee at the end of a wild, wild game. Albert Dikwa scores the late goal for Rhode Island to help them get a point in the end. Rhode Island don't get all three, but he's our player of the match. With the play of the match, the energy play of the match is presented by Rhode Island Energy.
Yeah, Dikwa definitely brought the energy tonight. He had a chance earlier in the game to get himself on the score sheet, but he made up for it in this moment. Great running behind, glancing header into the far corner. Got his team the equalizing goal.
So Rhode Island don't leave with nothing in the end, but it's Oakland that really will feel the more fortunate of the two. They were down to 10 for so long in the second half. As we look at the save of the match, it's presented by Centerville Bank, and well, it's really Paul Blanchett that came to the fore in that regard.
Yeah, Blanchett made a number of good saves throughout the course of the game to keep Oakland in this. They were under pressure a lot, but despite the mind games that he was playing with his opponents, he managed to stay fairly focused and concentrated himself. There's not much he could have done about the equalizing goal, but he was a big performer tonight for Oakland Roots.
1-1 is your final score. Another thriller in the USL Championship tonight. We'll step aside for the moment and wrap it all up next.
Tastes great. Let's fill it. Tastes great. Let's fill it. Tastes great. It is both. It is both. It is both. It is both. It's both.
Hey, thanks for the backup.
When you make your play and things just go your way, that's a good play.
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has been a good play, awarding more than $57 billion to winning players, over $6 billion in commissions to local businesses, and over $8.8 billion to the general fund, supporting all of Rhode Island.
It's a really good play that can make your day.
The Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for Rhode Island for 50 years and counting.
Hey Providence, we're Breeze Airways, and we offer non-stop flights from Rhode Island's T.F. Green International Airport. We're redefining what it means to fly up front. This one's for you. Introducing Breeze Ascent, the newest, nicest way to fly. It's seriously comfortable, satisfying, and affordable. Book today at flybreeze.com and experience the nicest way to travel. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
Miller Lite tastes great. Let's fill it. Tastes great. Let's fill it. Tastes great. It is both. It is both. It is both. It is both. It's both.
Hey, thanks for the backup.
Postgame is presented by High Bar Physical Therapy, the official physical therapy partner of RIFC. Visit highbarhealth.com today to begin your journey to feeling better, moving freely, and living fully. Sean St. Jacques, Chris Nurse here with you. Let's go back through the full-time highlights between Rhode Island and Oakland. We begin with Oakland scoring through Neville Hackshaw.
Hackshaw, hero turned villain in the end. Brilliant timing for this header. Hammers it into the back of the net. Great delivery. Gets his team the go-ahead goal despite it being down in terms of how the performance was happening on the pitch.
72nd minute, this was the villain part of your last statement, a straight red card for the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, you could see he was going through on goal, about to take it. He knows he took one for the team here. Professional foul, stopped them from getting the opportunity in goal, but it wasn't going to be enough at the end of the day.
Oakland kept on trying defensively, but it was Albert Dikwa who broke it and scored it.
Rito came into the game. Great delivery here. Dikwa glancing header into the far corner, and Blanchet had a solid performance tonight, but he was unable to affect this one at all. Had to watch it go glancing past him into the back of the net.
Felt like there was a chance for Rhode Island to go on and win it after that. There was a ton of stoppage time, but again, Oakland would hold on.
They kept the pressure on, but again, it was Blanchet coming up with big saves. Straight into his hands, question marks, was he behind the line or not? Doyle headers this either side of him, I think it's a goal, but unfortunately, Blanchet comes up big again for Oakland.
More of the same with the full-time stats, 23 shots for Rhode Island, 61% possession. Oakland scored with their only shot on target in the match.
Yeah, I think, you can see the personality of Cano Smith being embedded in this Rhode Island team. If they don't win, mentality is they don't lose, and they've done that again tonight. They should have won the game. Look at the number of shots they've had. They just lacked that killer instinct in the final third and a quality opportunity that could have really put them ahead, but they kept banging on the door. They were creating, they were dominant in possession, just lacked that killer instinct in the final third. And I think as they continue to grow and get stronger, attract more talent, they're only going to get better.
The light table has Oakland in 4th in the West because Memphis are leading, and Rhode Island for now are in 8th in the Eastern Conference. Another thriller in the USL Championship tonight. It had all the spills and thrills we've come to expect in these late season games in our favorite league to watch, as it finishes honors even between Rhode Island and Oakland. For Chris Nurse and our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Rhode Island.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.